Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and today we are talking about Andor, the latest and last Star Wars show of this year. With me, as always, is John and Hazel. Hello, everybody.
Yep.
Uh, Quick question before we get started: were you excited for the show? What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I was pretty much excited for this show because I'm a really big fan of Rogue One, and I always wanted more. I wanted more of that kind of shit where it's gritty, it's down and dirty, it's warfare, it's espionage. It's like I love that when Star Wars starts to hit on that, and then the first time getting exposed to that was with Clone Wars, and when we saw it in Rogue One, I was like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes we don't need space wizards, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, if y'all have seen Rogue One, y'all know that Cassian Andor doesn't really make it. But here we get like a little bit of like his backstory and like who he became to be, and yeah, it's a fun journey. We'll get to it when we get to it. But how about you, Hazel?
Um, I'll watch anything that's Star Wars, so I'm always excited that there's something new in Star Wars. But as far as like it being focused on Andor, going into this, I really wasn't interested. Yeah, I didn't think that I would really like this one too much.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching it because I really didn't, have an interest in Cassian, after seeing Rogue One a bunch of times or whatever. I just, it's like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care about this dude. But it's Star Wars, so I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, you're right. No understatement. Okay, I didn't know this was a debate. Jesus. All right.
It's not a debate. It was just her
Yeah,
thoughts
well,
on the first trailer.
just sounds like a debate. Like I'm done. You're like, oh, okay. I guess it's my turn for my take. Yeah, I was excited for this because I really like Rogue One, and the fact that the people who were involved in Rogue One were making this, I was like, yeah, I'm excited. Especially since Tony Gilroy was heading it, and I do love the Bourne movies, almost all of them. That he's involved in anyway. I don't think he's involved in the Jeremy Renner one.
This does.
Demon.
Yeah, demon.
Yeah.
Well, this does kind of feel like a Bourne movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and like with Clone Wars and again Rogue One, I was like, you know what, I'm excited. I like Star Wars when it's gritty and grounded, and the maximum number of wizards is 0 most of the time.
Mm.
So let's see
No,
what happens.
you don't see any. You don't see any space wizards here.
Yeah,
Just space politics.
yeah. And like, since this is 12 episodes and my memory is always foggy, I won't do this chronologically, but I would first like to hit on the themes that this show hits, where it's like this is unlike any other Star Wars anything I've
Hands
ever
up.
seen.
Hands up.
Yeah.
That's the theme of this. Kind of hit too close to home.
Yeah, and the fact that the evil comes back years later, we're like, ah.
Oh.
But yeah, it is anti-fascist. I know people be like, don't make it political. How do I not make it political?
It's Star Wars. Stormtroopers.
Right?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's all anti-fascism from the rebel side, all anti-capitalism as well, and the fact that the empire itself is represented mostly by the ISB, which is so bureaucratic. It's like they gave evil such a boring, mundane face that you're like, this. You were used to watching Star Wars and seeing people like Darth Vader or the
Yeah.
Emperor, a clear definition of what evil is. But here it's just like, no, these are the people who are, in all intents and purposes, just following orders.
I really don't. I don't agree with that. I really don't. Like the IS. What was the name?
ISB.
The ISV. That's political evil. These are like corpo fucking baddies that are like, as long as I get to keep my position, anyone can die.
Yeah, but
Like,
they-
I know they're not like a menacing dark entity, but like just to think that these people are like behind the scenes manipulating everything as a plot here, which one of the rebel freighters a guy who's a rebel who's disguised as a transporter gets assassinated just like that, on a whim. That's terrifying because that's real. That shit does happen.
Yeah.
And to me, sorry, the ISB, that shit's a scary bad guy. You sure they don't come in with a red lightsaber and a black suit? But they got control of majority of the galaxy. Or
Yeah.
they could pretty much wipe out a whole town if they wanted to, without any disregard.
Yeah, that you said it's real. Like that's what I like. That it hits home. That like a lot of fascist regimes in our world, they don't pose themselves as political to like ordinary people. That's how someone like Cyril Khan can just do what he does and not think about what he does. And it's like
It's more of like, oh, I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not saying objectively it's not political.
Yeah.
I'm saying to an ordinary person in the galaxy, they're like, oh, I just want a job. I'm just in the but they're in the wrong government.
Yeah. Right.
Listen.
Yes.
The ISB is the Gestapo, okay?
It is. The fucking ISB is pretty much the Gestapo of space. They knock on your door and they're like, hey, we're looking for a guy and we know you know him.
Yeah.
Like, are you hiding anyone in the attic? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, by the way.
No, yeah, it's a good example. And like another example is that when it comes to imperialism, like when they're on, I forgot what planet they had. When they're on Aldani and they see TIE fighters flying low, that's just a sign of the settlers, the colonizers, that we own you, we want you to know we're here. It's like how in the 19th century, or like late 19th century, like imperialist America would send its battleship across the world to let people know, and that's how they got Japan to open up by parking its battleship in Japan, saying if either you let us trade or we start opening fire, you choose death or trade.
Yeah, and I think the planet is called Aldani.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I see what you mean there, where the TIE fighter like does like a dive bomb.
Yeah.
In front of like the group, but they thought they were like farmers or some shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Any themes
There's a lot of themes that I kind of like. I am all for it.
Yeah.
I like it, and I don't know if you guys agree. This is starting to become kind of. I don't want to make this comparison, but it's my only way of describing it. It's starting to become very Game of Thrones-esque, where these are two completely different things, by the way. Where it's very political now, and I love the political drama, how the cog works and shit like that, how it cracks, and how people are able to do things within this make-believe government is just so fascinating to me, and I love it. It's not just good guy versus bad guy, it's good guy playing a bad guy to do the good, and bad guys thinking they're doing the good when they're actually not.
Yeah.
I love the show. I like the show too much.
Yeah.
It's such a good show. Y'all know my rating for this already.
Yeah. But yeah, Hazel, how about you? Any of the themes hit home for you? Or like were interesting for you from your point of view?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like the themes of, like how hope has always been a big thing and rebellions are built on hope and that sort of stuff. I love that. And you can tell, like, they really focus on proving that just one person in a whole wide galaxy could make a difference. They could be the spark that lights the fire.
Yeah, I love that shit. Especially with Andor, when this is not our hero. Like, this is not a hero right off the bat.
Yeah.
This guy's scavenger, thief, traitor, and the man fits more of a spy than a hero, I would say, than a war hero. I love his character so fucking much because it plays into this world of it's gray. This whole world is gray. Some people are just following orders on the wrong side. Some people are blindly following on the right side, or like manipulating on the right side, kind of like with that guy named what's his name, Skiff,
Hmm.
or no, what was his name? The guy who was like willing to split the 80 million credits. I'm trying to look for his name.
The one with Mon Mothma.
No. The one where they did the heist and the guy was like, "Hey, we made it,
Yeah.
but that's 80 million credits. Like we could run and split it. I got a moon that we could hide it."
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just forgot his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, again, just the grayness of it all is just so striking. And the fact that at some points I forget it's Star Wars until I see like a stormtrooper, like, right.
Dude, the whole time I was like, shit, I want to watch it. Oh, right, there's a Star Wars show. Like it would like do the intro before it says Andor.
Yeah.
It was like Star Wars. I was like, right. This isn't a political drama about a completely different universe.
Yeah, like just from the beginning, I felt like I was in Blade Runner 2049. I was like, oh, did I turn something on that I wasn't supposed to?
That is one thing I request for, like, from Blade Runner, is like get the director for Andor if you want to make a Blade Runner show. That shit was great.
Yeah. But beside the themes, there are a lot of very interesting, compelling characters, both on the Rebel side and the Empire side. And like, for me at least, one of the big standouts is the titular character himself, Andor, which I feel like obviously gave him more complexions and development, since the show gave him time to be like, this guy is very much in the gray. He doesn't even want to be part of the rebellion. It takes Luthen to be like, hey, do you want to be part of something bigger? Here's your chance. Even though through political scheming, you find out, oh, Andor's just a loose end that they want to kill after, because they can't afford anyone snitching.
Yeah, and of course with Andor's character, with Cassian's character, he does seem like a guy who would be like, "Oh, I got tortured. I'll tell you everything."
Yeah.
From what this perspective of Luthien sees, he's good at his job, but for sure this kid will slip in his eyes.
Yeah. And like, it's not all-out war yet. This is just the spark of what will become the rebellion. And it's fascinating to see.
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Luthien and Mon Mothma are both on the same side, but Mon Mothma.
No, I say Luthien. It's Lutheran.
No, it's Luthien.
Oh, no, I'm wrong.
Luthen.
Luthien. All right then.
Luthien. Yeah. Like, you see, they're both on the same side. They're both fighting for the rebellion. But you can see that they're both fucking up each other because they have like different ways of dispatching their plans. It's a fun thing that made me like, oh yeah, I know Cassian survives through this because he's in Rogue One. But now I have these other subplots. Yeah?
You say his name is Luthen.
Luthen. Such a Star Wars names. Like Cyril, Tarn.
Did any character stick out to you, Hazel?
It's just like Luther, but with an N.
Luthen. Yeah. I don't know why I can't pronounce his name. But yeah, any characters that stood out to you, Hazel?
In the whole show?
Yeah. It's like just characters in general.
Yeah, I can't think of her name because I think they barely said it, maybe just once. But Luthen's shopkeeper partner, the woman, I really like her.
You mean
character.
Clea? I'm guessing right now. Her name's Clea.
Yeah, Clea.
Yeah, Clea, yeah.
I'm starting to think that's Princess Leia, just with a British accent. Doesn't she look like Princess Leia to you?
No.
She doesn't? She looks like Princess Leia to me. Like, if they casted somebody to be young Princess Leia, she'll fit the job.
It depends how many years this is removed from Kenobi. 'Cause
Not a lot. Not a lot.
This, yeah, it's not a lot. It's like the same time frame, basically.
yeah, I doubt it's Princess Leia. I feel like she'll be more inclined to be a part of this in season 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is like 5 years after Kenobi.
All right. All right.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
what
so
Cassian's so old.
Leia
Yep.
and Luthen, both of them, that little duo right there. Both of those characters very much fascinate me. I got my theories about Luthen.
Yes.
What's your theory?
I believe that this man is a Force user and that he has been trained in the Jedi arts. I feel that at the moment, obviously, he would be in hiding, and I don't think his name is actually Luthen, but it's something very close. I can't think of the name, but we know that he carries around a stick or a cane, whatever. But we see the cane change. We first see it as like a long silver metal type of thing, and then when he goes to see Saw Gerrera, and Two Tubes checks it out,
Yeah.
it's wooden, right? And it looks kind of like it's a lightsaber hiding in plain sight. And so I think that kyber crystal is his kyber crystal, except I don't think that he follows the Jedi code exactly. I feel he's either a gray Jedi, or he might have dabbled a little bit into the dark side, because a lot of his morals and like the things that he's been saying fall in line with the things that the Sith believe. They try to recognize the past, and he has all of these relics and stuff from the past, and there's even like a broken stone like tablet or whatever that like came from a Sith temple, and he has Star Killer's armor in the background.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah, like he might not like be full dark side or anything, but he's definitely like a gray Jedi, or just someone who will definitely do whatever it takes to forward the rebellion.
Could be like past Jedi, just jaded as fuck.
Vel even
Yeah.
says to Cassian when they're on Aldani, that they will never discuss what he is. She doesn't say who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another character that did surprise me was Mon Mothma, seeing her play this dangerous game of being like, I need to be careful, and I need to know when to compromise and when to do my dealings, and by the end she has to make a move that really shatters her to the core, like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I love that arc. Like, to be honest, at the start, I was like, I found the arc that I'm gonna be bored with. I was like, it's just all political. It's just Mon Mothma. That was the one where I was like, will she make it, or will the people around her make it? Like, she can't trust her husband. Her daughter's naive as fuck. Everybody around her is a spy, except for her own best friend, which her husband doesn't trust because they kind of look too flirty with each other when they're actually trying to go against the government. It's such a odd game of chess with Mon Mothma, and I love the little things that they do to stay inconspicuous with like everybody around them. Like when she meets up with Luthen, like they pretend to be buying a relic or something really expensive. He puts on a face. She also puts on a face. But they try their best not to show their emotions towards the driver. And I was like,
Yeah, because he's also ISB.
yeah, he's also ISB. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
I love the whole spy shit.
And like she's already against the Emperor. And like when they were talking about how the Emperor wants more control and order, she's like, yeah, but how much is too much? And they're like, okay.
Yeah. And nobody's listening. Like when she's at like the council, you see the lights turning off, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people aren't listening to her.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of people who are just like, you complain too much. You should stop. You're like, I've seen this before. On the internet and in other stuff. Yeah.
My head hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you said it yourself. This hits home a lot. So I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I do like Mon Mothma. But the new character I really like was Luthien, especially like towards the end when that mole they have for the Empire was like, "What have you sacrificed?" And he's like, "What have I
I love
sacrificed?"
that speech.
Yeah, I love that monologue. I definitely do.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
and the whole, I burned my life to make a sunrise that I know we'll never see.
There's
What do
see.
what do I sacrifice? Everything. Like, oh damn.
And the setting too. He's on like a catwalk. The wind's fucking blowing through his like trench coat. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I want to capture that scene so bad. I'm gonna rewatch the show. I don't care.
Yeah.
This show's so fucking good.
Skarsgård's really good. I'm like, fuck, this man can do everything.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he was in Chernobyl, so it was like I expected nothing less.
Yeah, Chernobyl. He's still in Dune, and so
Yeah.
this man is just so talented. Up to now, you're like, thank God, you're not only known for Marvel, because you're way too
Yeah.
talented for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been a really good bad guy if they just let him.
Yeah. And like the only small gripe with the character I have is that I kind of wish we saw more from Saw Gerrera, but I guess they're saving that for maybe season 2. Or they're like, you already know the story from Clone Wars and Rebels, so you're good.
Yeah.
But like on the Empire side, I don't want to say I like this character because they are, again, so they hit close to home because they're so bureaucratically evil. You're like, Jesus Christ. Though obvious standout to me has always been Dedra, because the actor said something like, I'm not a woman in a man's world. I am a fascist in a world full of fascists. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just for me. Like, say what you will, Bix was really great. Fallon was also great, but the two female leads, in my opinion, who were neck and neck. My top favorite was Deborah and Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
I was like, I love these two as characters, not as people themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
not the
Mothma's
ideology.
fine. Yeah.
Like I said before, like we've said before in the show, like you can idolize or your favorite character can be Magneto. It doesn't mean you agree with his methods.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dedra, and then I love the fact that the ISB the head is Qyburn from Game of Thrones. I forgot the character's name, but he is a standout because again, he's just some ordinary guy, and they're all on this political ladder, just trying to climb over each other. We're like, crab mentality. I've seen that too.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, Hazel, what do you think of the Empire side of things? Did Dedra stand out to you like she did for us, me and Drum?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like her character, the way she is, and all of that, and like how she sees things doesn't surprise me at all. Just knowing the Empire. Um, but I don't know. Her character was very well placed in this show, and I could appreciate that. It shows a little different side, I guess, of the Empire. I mean, like, they're still all evil and horrible, but like that they're not all just cookie cutter type of people.
Yeah.
Because like they tell Deidre when they're trying to capture Cassian at the funeral on Ferrix, that they got snipers and a containment team. And she's like, the containment's fine, but no snipers. She wants him alive. And you can say many different things as to this, because we've seen her be upset when they didn't capture Antor Krieger alive. She wants answers. She wants the questions that she has to be solved, and they're looking for access, and she's basically just very heavily job focused. I don't really think that it's like personal to her. It's like an example of somebody who's basically just doing their job and they want to be the best at it.
This is what I see in Deborah Nero. Nero. what's her name? Deborah Miro.
Dead Ramiro.
Dedra Miro. Sorry. What I say is that if this woman was the head, like he took the position of major, should have been so dangerous to the rebellion, because there's the only person in the whole fucking room that Cassian keeps saying this. They don't care. They won't even bother to learn us because that's how much they look down on us. When this person is willing to learn.
Yeah.
Like she wants information about everything before it even happens. When everybody else in the Empire is like, they won't do that. They're too scared. You know, like, yeah. If she becomes like a higher up, she'll be a really good villain.
Yeah. And like, there's one cameo I do like from the Empire side, which is General Yularen, who's been in the Clone Wars. He's been in Rebels. He was in A New Hope. And he's been here for a while, and he's very close to the Emperor. And just to see how the hierarchy is of the Empire is just very fascinating to me. And going back to what Hazel said about these people just doing their jobs and not really thinking about what they're doing. Like when you see after Cyril Khan is removed from his position, he goes back to his mom's place, and it's just like an average space apartment. Or like, God, the mundane situation he's in is just like unlike anything I've ever seen.
Man, this man was in more of a nightmare than if you were in a battlefield.
Yeah.
His mom doesn't believe in him. She's like making him feel bad about like oh, you owe me because I birthed you and shit.
Yeah, she's like one of those parents who are like, why does the show keep heading home? I know parents like this.
Yeah, she's very overbearing, and at the time will destroy your self-esteem if that was your mother.
Yeah. Going back to the rebel size, another standout.
You can totally tell that like they're living not like in like the underworld of Coruscant, but like mid-level. Like they live.
It's like middle class.
Middle class.
It's like, I think probably lower than middle class.
Yeah, low middle class.
Yeah, and like it's so drab, it's so gray. It looks great though. Like, as a person looking out, looking in, the place looks great.
Yeah, his mom keeps it tidy anyway. But
there's a view. Like if you just walk outside of your apartment.
Going back to the rebels, Marwa definitely stood out the most as well. Especially towards the end, where you're like, fuck, her speech at the end, you're like, wow, this really hits home in more ways than I could ever imagine.
Man, I wanted to kick a riot shield so bad after I heard it.
Yeah. Felt so bad for the droid too, because like, he just can't accept the loss he experienced, and he's just like, I don't want to go. Please don't make me go.
B is my second favorite droid now. It is K2SO now B.
Yeah, because he's unbelievably human. You're like, why is this droid better than like 99% of the droids we've encountered so far?
Yeah, like this thing was like, can you stay for the night? And they were like, okay, one night. I was like, fuck.
But this being Star Wars, there are like big sequences that happen like throughout the ends of each arc. Like the first one was Luthen and Andor's escape, and then the second one was the heist and Aldani, and then the last one being the person escape and the riot at the end. But like the
surprise, Andy Serkis is here.
Yeah. Like when I heard his voice in the prison arc, I'm like, that voice sounds so familiar. Oh fuck, it's Andy Serkis.
I have theories of his end.
Yeah. His end though. I do love the episode where it's not a sudden move, because like he's so sure of what he has to do and he has to do his job well, but once he starts seeing the cracks, like the fact that he knows 200 people have been killed just because of a small mistake, and that leads to the cracks, and then the final crack being like them just discarding the old man, and the deaths of some of the characters here are like, like having a stroke or a heart attack. Or like, this is so on Star Wars, but at the same time, it's so impactful.
I'm like, yesterday I got jarred when I was like, somebody had a stroke. I was like, is this still Star Wars?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I gotta give it to them. This could have been just any prison, but they made it so intense. They made it so creative. Like there is no bars, there is no force field keeping you in.
Yeah.
It's just a deadly floor. You can walk out if you would like. You can do whatever you want, but if you do those things, you just get fried the fuck out.
Yeah.
I love that shit where it's just an open cell, and somebody could just end it right there if they don't like it.
Yeah. And someone does. You're like, fuck.
I was expecting it. I really was. Like they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, but they're gonna do it.
Going back for a bit before people scream at us, I like how they also set the heist, because it's so tedious how they do it and their planning and preparation. And given the benefit, because this is a TV show, so they have more time, but just the setup and the payoff is so amazing. And the fact that it's literally a suicide squad by the end of the heist, because they're being killed off one after the other, and you're like, is anybody aside from Andor gonna make it?
It's such a gritty way too. Like, what was your reaction when that one guy just got flattened by money? I was like, oh my god.
Like, well, if his spine isn't broken, he has internal bleeding forever.
Yeah, it was a sick and naked. I like that actor though, Alex
Oh,
Lawther.
you're
if
talking
I...
about Nemec?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nemec. Kid's a really good actor. I love him here. He had like the whole manifesto stuff,
Yeah.
which really played well into the plot.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't recite it word for word for the life of me, but that maybe I'll try to quote it in the description here. But that manifesto again, it's just like there's so much.
Yeah, go on.
No, it's so relevant with the times, especially in 2022. We're like, seems very timely. His manifesto.
Yeah, like I love that when you could take things from a show and actually apply it to real life. And I was like, damn, his manifesto was really good. I don't remember it word for word, but it was really good.
Yeah.
The writing in this show is just creme de la creme of writing.
Yeah. Did you like the heist, Hazel?
Yeah, I like the heist. It was building up for like 3 fucking episodes.
Like they're more of like I'm guessing it was kind of they're trying to like build characters around Cassian.
Yeah. Like when the officer gets a heart attack and he just dies and the shootout happens, I'm like, that's so on Star Wars, but I like it.
You gotta love the direction they took with this, because all stakes could have been on Cassian, and then we could have just done that whole sorry to say this, Solo thing where you're like, oh god, does Chewie make it? Does Han? Yes, of course they make it. No, you have other characters now in this show where you're like, do they make it? I know Cassian makes it, but how is he gonna get them out?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah.
And then the shot of him going up and up towards the eye, you're like, wow, this is pretty.
I love that scene. They spared no expense on that visual effects where the eye was happening. I was like,
yeah, that shit was amazing.
That shit was so real.
Yeah.
And I had like so how I watch it is sometimes on my phone, and I would have like a small speaker beside my ear. So every time an eye would like pass by, and it would like make that sound, I was like, ooh, it tingles my ears. It's good sound design as well. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Also love how after the heist, Andor's like, you know what? This rebel life isn't for me. I quit. And goes the path of non-action and still pays the price when you see like the officer's like, why are you here? You're here suspiciously. And he's like, I'm doing nothing. I'm literally here as a tourist.
Again, very close to home.
and he gets strangled by K2SO, and like the judge is so
It's not K2SO, but okay.
well K2SO unit.
Well, it's a K unit, yeah, K2 unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the judge, one who's like convicting Andor, is just so like mundane. It's like, you're convicted. This is your sentence.
Oh, you don't agree? Fine, 6 years it is.
Yeah.
Again, very close to home.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you want to take it? You have a problem? Take it up with the Empire. Bye.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah, and then he's sent to build parts for a certain weapon. You're like, I wonder if.
No, I am. This is what I'm wondering. It's more of like, what do you call those? The spy droids? Because those did look like, they're meant to be used as a 8-legged thing. Probe droid. Sorry.
Did you not
Like the
see the after credit scene?
there's after credit scenes.
Yeah, for the last episode of what they were building in the prison.
No.
It's the Death Star.
Yeah, in the season finale, there's an after credit scene.
I didn't know.
That's why in Rogue One, when the guy's like, oh,
Yeah, there's an after credit scene in Rogue One, right?
Was it Leia?
What, you pop in the DVD of A New Hope? Is that the after credit scene, Hazel?
No, I'm sorry. Solo.
Oh, with Maul. Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, it's just that like throughout the show there was no after credits scene. I didn't know.
Oh, well.
I thought they would fully commit.
But yeah.
So it's for the Death Star.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I do like how.
Yeah, they're like joint pieces for the reflection array.
Oh. Okay, it kind of makes sense of why they had to do it. And there's like other like prison cells as well. So it wasn't just that one place that was building those parts.
Yeah.
I would say it's efficient.
Yeah.
Horrible, but efficient.
I do love by the end of when the old man dies, and before that, Cassian as Keloy, Andy Serkis' character, like how many guards are there in this prison, and then by the end, he's like never more than 12. Like that's a face turn right there.
I love that Andy Serkis character.
I loved that too. Kino Loy.
Where he's just pissed off. Like he's like one of the closest people to get out. And knowing the fact that once he gets that number to 0, it's back up again.
Yeah.
I was like, and you just see him just like, fuck this place, fuck everything. I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yeah. And then he gives the one way out speech, and it is an epic scene of the prisoners just running out, screaming one way out, and then they get to the edge and he just stops, and then Andor looks at them like, what? Like, I can't swim.
I can't swim. And I gotta say, Andy Serkis doesn't. I feel like they could do a whole Bill Burr thing where they're like, oh, he's actually alive. But
no, he very well could have made it. I think maybe someone helped him.
Probably.
But like I love how when he's about to give the one way out speech, and Cassian is, talking to him and telling him, that he has to be the one to do it. That pure look of fear on his face, I believe, is him realizing that he's not going to get it out because he can't swim. So he's going to make sure that he can get everyone else out.
Yeah. There's tears in his eyes while he's doing the speech, and I was like, I love this shit so much. There's so much weight to it, too. God damn, Star Wars, make more shit like this!
And like it's within this arc that we get one of the most horrifying scenes ever, with Bix being tortured for information. We're like, Jesus Christ, that's pretty dark. Like the way the Doctor explains it so casually, like, oh, you know what's fascinating about this thing? Is that we killed a bunch of aliens, we recorded the death cries of its children, and now you're gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
Like,
in a high-pitched tone that will make you, like, lose your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's better. That is a better situation than just being in Morbius. So.
Morbius?
Yeah, she's the love interest in Morbius.
Well, she's in better stuff now.
Morbius was more torture than
Yeah.
whatever the screams of children are.
But you see the after effect of like when they bring her in for more questioning, like there's no color in her face, she's just broken. You're like, that's not fair. This is not fair anymore.
I have a big crush on her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she's very pretty.
Yeah. I thought you said I had a very big question. I'm like, what is yes?
Sorry.
No. But I do love when Cassian and Melchi escape. There's like a shot of a sunset, and you're like, that looks very familiar. It looks like the end of Rogue One, where Cassian and
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was like, this looks very familiar, but instead of like a sunset, it was a blast from this Death Star.
very poetic.
Yeah.
But when Marwa dies, he has to make it back to her funeral, and like how controlling the Empire is like, oh, you can only have this amount of people at this time, and we control the streets, and the fact that as they're slowly approaching, you see people in riot shields, like you're like again, 2022. You're like, this image just never gets easier to look at, and the fact that for lack of a better term, these are just people on the wrong side of the government, and if they had a thought of like, wait, what are we doing again? They might be like, this is the wrong side.
I love how stormtroopers were represented here now. Like, they were an actual threat.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, they were hitting people now. Like, they were like upper class military now. And I was like, that's great. They're not just police.
Yes.
I'm sorry, no, not to.
I loved how we got to see more Imperial Army uniforms, and we even got to see some Death Troopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That shit was sick. Look, the Republic, please put more pouches on your stormtroopers. They look cool with it.
Like, interesting to see it. Like, the only time the stormtroopers are accurate as hell is when they're the iron fist of capitalism. Like, okay.
Well, when they're trying to look good in front of the camera now.
Yeah, and that's why we all say, there's there, behind the scenes, Marvel was supposed to say, "Fuck the Empire," but Disney is like, that is a stretch. No.
We already said shit in this series.
Yeah.
We can't say that.
But in your heart,
That was the first time that they ever swore in Star Wars.
Yeah, because it was all Dang Ferret and
Echuta.
Dechuta that, and now they're saying shit.
Yeah.
It's a galactic term.
But like when the big guy was smashing the stormtroopers with the gravestone, you're like, yeah, fuck the Empire. I say, I'm wearing a Vader shirt, whatever. But
I love that. Right, like the brick is supposed to be a representation of somebody's.
Yo, Brasso fucking completely doming that guy with Marva's brick. Yo, that shit was amazing.
Yeah, you can't say Marva didn't fucking fight in that, right? Human ash makes a pretty sturdy brick.
right? It goes from like this is epic to this is uncomfortable when literally civilians are being mowed down. You're like, I want this to stop. Like that's like the first time ever in a Star Wars anything that I'm just like uncomfortable. Like I don't like these images, especially in 2022.
Yeah, like because with the movies, and not to fault the movies, because for sure they had rules. Every time they would execute civilians, they would cut away from it. Here we're seeing it like full frontal and shit. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that poor old lady got shot in the leg.
yeah. But yeah, Cassian escapes and helps Bix and the rest of the crew make it onto another ship, and hopefully we see them in season 2.
Dude, I hate it. I really hate it because I don't trust this show anymore. When Vix and the rest like escaped and they gave us a long shot of this thing escaping, I was like, don't you dare show me this thing blowing up in the sky and breaking my heart.
And then Cassian finally goes to Luthien and is like fully committed. And like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like you could kill me, or you could take me in, and then you see Luthen with this smile on his face, and I was like, I think you're gonna be a really good spy.
Yeah, Luthien and his lightsaber ship, which again, that's another really cool scene of him toying with the Empire. It's like, yeah, I'm just an innocent trader. Please, I have nothing up my sleeve.
And then he releases like the debris backwards. I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. And like before we end, like Luthien is a cold bastard, especially when he decides to tell Saw Gerrera like, no, we're sacrificing Anton Krieger for the greater good.
Yeah, it just puts more weight on the war where good guys had to make sacrifices, really hard, hard calls, just so they could be a step ahead of the enemy.
Yeah.
I like that. I like seeing that. I like that they're expanding on it. I'm not shitting on the old films because they kind of showed more of a black and white world or universe. With this one, it was more gray. Like now we got amazing storytellers, and my god, man, I can't get over this fucking show, man. It's so good.
I love the dialogue of like by the end, Luthien was like, call it what it is, and Saw's like, call it war. Like,
Call it war.
Damn right it is.
And I love it that they both kind of agreed. Like, we will lose a foothold if we tell Karga that, hey, there's gonna be an ambush.
Yeah.
And I'm like, again, it's just a scary thought, but at the same time, it's like very real, very real.
Yeah, and again, this is like I think literally the only Star Wars show where I'm very uncomfortable with some of these scenes, like especially what's happening.
I say it. Yeah, I say I'm very uncomfortable, but in a good way, where they showed how Star Wars wasn't just an adventure like film. No, there were within the cracks and crevices, there were hard decisions and nasty things that has happened within the war that we don't see. It's kind of like what Gundam did, where they showed the original Gundam series and then they started showing the side stories, which I really liked.
What I love was when, at the height of the show, there was this clip of George Lucas going around and there was a caption of like people being like, and you know, in the SpongeBob mocking voice, like Star Wars shouldn't be political, and then George is telling James Cameron like, you know, when I made the rebels in the Empire, the rebels were didn't have many arms, didn't have many supporters, were a small band fighting a very large imperialist armies, and in my mind, in our visions, we all, at the time of Star Wars release, the rebels in our world would have been called something like the Viet Cong, where a small enemy is trying to fight a massive imperial army.
Mm-hmm.
And the themes just keep sticking, and I do love the fact that Star Wars is showing this side of itself, and I wish they did more seasons that just didn't focus on Andor, because Andor is limited. It's just 2 seasons and you're done. I want more.
For sure they're gonna expand more. There's gonna be more stories to tell and different main characters to see and follow.
Yeah, and like I know
I can't call these people heroes now.
Yeah. I know people will be like, but we have rebels. Like, yeah, rebels has space wizards and evil space wizards, unfortunately. So that's not as grounded as this one. But I do love them for different reasons. But this show really struck a nerve where I'm like, I think this may have ruined my expectations for Mando, because now I'm just like, I kind of prefer Andor season 2 now.
I get you.
But yeah, before we go to our ratings, what's your conclusion on the show? Pre-ratings, I mean, yeah.
Pre-ratings? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every episode. Yes, there were some slow moments, but it was needed. It showed how methodical everyone had to be in this world, or in this universe, to beat this enemy that's pretty much a David and Goliath fight. And that's actually an understatement. I love how they treated this as more of a instead of a Star Wars movie, they treat it as a spy slash prison break slash heist movie or show, and it and a little bit of a war film here and there. Yeah, the writing was great. Everybody did their part. Nobody lacked. I don't know if you noticed. No actor here lacked the like. They had their part. They played it well and they played it right. And I'm like, yes. Nobody lacked in this department. That department.
Alright.
That.
How about you,
How about you,
Hazel?
Hazel?
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think this is the best that we have ever seen of Star Wars.
Yeah, you agree?
I know that Episode 10 is the highest rated piece of Star Wars media to date. I just love it. This is great Star Wars. You know, I love that it's very, dark and Star Wars has always been made for children. But has not been made for children. The only problem I foresee is that now that we've gotten something so great, moving forward with anything else that comes out, no matter what it is, I just hope that people don't try to hold that stuff to this standard, because Star Wars in general isn't always about what we see in Andor. It definitely is more on a bigger focus of the galaxy, a little bit more lighthearted, but this is a specific story that we're nailing down, and it's very dark and very gritty, and I just love it.
Yeah, I really liked the show. I thought every episode, even if it was a bit slow or meandering, I thought every bit was fascinating and interesting to see this pocket of Star Wars that we don't really see. And I wish like Star Wars would make more projects like this. Like if they did like a criminal underworld in Coruscant, I would definitely watch that. But since we don't have that, I guess I'll take this, and this is a very good option to take. All of the characters are fascinating and great, from the existing ones to the new ones, and the themes that they hit. Like, it's funny how the show was going on while major protests were going around the world. We were like, very timely, very, very timely. But yeah, this is a really good show, and again, like moving forward, I know you said you hope you don't hold other shows to the standard, but like, or at least for me, every time we move forward to like a new show, like maybe Ahsoka, I'm like, oh Jed, oh cool, the Force and lightsabers. Kind of miss the political stuff, but it is what it is. I'm not saying I'm waiting to like dislike an Ahsoka and the rest, but like, Andor.
You lean towards that side of Star Wars.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm hella excited for Ahsoka and like other lightsaber and Force users shows. But yeah, all that being said, what would you rate this?
I know I give this a lot, but it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I did not miss. I didn't see any faults. Everything was perfect. And I will rewatch it. And I love every second of it.
Okay.
So 10 out of 10.
Hazel?
Yeah, I absolutely love this show. It's definitely a 10 out of 10. I'm looking forward to The Acolyte, because it's a Sith-based show, and we've never gotten anything like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 out of 10 as well. Like, I really can't think of anything I didn't like. This is such a... Like, again, something we never got in Star Wars before, and I do appreciate every aspect of it, and I think every aspect of it is near perfect, if not perfect itself. But yeah. Question for you guys is that... 2 questions before we wrap things up is that... What
No.
Oh, never mind that. Well, if you want to see more of us, I'm kidding. How would you rank the Star Wars shows right now? Excluding, like, animated.
Any Star Wars shows has it? Okay. I guess I'll go first. So there's shocker, Andor, season 2 Mandalorian, Boba Fett.
Obi-Wan.
Is there any? Boba Fett, Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I would go Andor and then slightly below this Mando everything, and then Obi-Wan and then Boba Fett. How about you, Hazel?
Yeah, I would. I think I'm the same as you, Enzo. I would say that it's Andor, and then Mando, Obi-Wan, and Boba Fett.
I think we all just had the same answer.
Yeah. So the upcoming shows next year include The Bad Batch season 2, Ahsoka, and the Skeletal Crew, and then among that, in the future, is the Acolyte. Which one are you most excited for?
Which one are you excited for?
Me?
Yeah.
Only because it is Sith related, and again, I'm wearing a Vader shirt. I would say the Acolyte. The cast is interesting. Like they got the main guy from Squid Games, and Daphne Kane from Logan, and she's the lead. So
I just wanted you to say Skeleton Crew.
I'm
I'm sorry. What is Skeleton Crew, by the way?
the one with Jude Law.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll just off screen. Yeah. Shit.
Are you asking what a skeleton crew is?
I know what the Skeleton Crew is, but what I'm asking, what is it in Star Wars? Like, what is it going to be about?
I'm actually not too sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna just go with Skeleton Crew. I don't know what it is, so I can't wait.
All right.
How about you, Hazel?
The show that I'm most looking forward to seeing is Ahsoka. And for a couple reasons. Well, obviously, she's one of the most beloved characters that we have in Star Wars. She's very popular. She is just amazing. So I would love to see Ahsoka because I also love Rosario Dawson's portrayal of her. I think it's very fitting that they're the same age. Like the actor is the same age as the character. And also because we're going to get Thrawn, and we're probably going to get Ezra and... No, not Ezra. Kanan. And we also could get Mara Jade live action, and possibly the return of Mace Windu if he doesn't show up in one of the Mando shows.
Oh, wait. What happened to that Red Squadron? Oh, sorry, Rogue Squadron.
I think it's on hold.
Damn it! I like that one.
It's on hold.
Yeah.
But because Ahsoka is basically along the same time as like we are in Mando, right? And the Book of Boba Fett. And so that's 5 years after the Empire fell, and that's when, at least in Legends, in the timeline, that's the first time that we meet Mara in the Star Wars universe. Is 5 years after the Empire fell. And so this is appropriate, at least for Ahsoka, because her interactions, looking for Kanan, going to Thrawn because they're together. So Mara could definitely, show up, dealings with Thrawn or something.
I thought Ezra was part of the show, because they announced who he is portrayed by.
Who's playing him?
Unknown. I don't know him.
Yeah.
But I do know Ramona Flowers is in Ahsoka as maybe Princess Leia?
Mary Elizabeth Winston?
Yeah.
And
so,
that's right.
Us maybe Princess Leia. And Ray Stevenson is also there. He's from RRR, and he was a former Punisher. I'm hoping he's Thrawn because I feel like he can do a good Thrawn. But yeah, that's been our video on Andor. What do you guys think of it? What's your most anticipated Star Wars show? What's your favorite Star Wars show as of right now? Animated, live action included. But yeah, if you want to see more of us on this platform at least, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. Bless you.
Thank
We
you.
also have a Facebook,
Allergy season.
Spotify, and TikTok under the same name. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Facebook to see us react to trailers, stream video games, and about our lives. And Spotify to hear us on the go. If you want to catch us individually and see our personal lives for some reason, I'm at GetNelfus995 on IG and Twitter.
You can find me at JumpGeo. GEOM _ there we go. On Instagram, it is my response. How
Stop
about you, Hazel?
sending people to strangers' accounts. Jesus.
Shut up!
You can find me at Sapphire Hazel 7, which is the number 7, for IG and Twitter, and then just Sapphire Hazel for YouTube and Twitch.
And for this week, we're ending on a animated Disney project that Jomer really likes. God, I don't know why. Maybe I'll change my mind about it.
Yes,
Whoa.
Lewis Hamilton. Okay.
Sure. But yeah, that's all the time
Hey
we
man,
have for.
hey man, I will change your mind once you.
You said
Just
that
do
about
it.
The Last Jedi, and we came to a non-decision. But yes, we'll see you on the next time. Bye, bye, everybody. Yes. Any last words before we officially
Bye.
end?
No!